is Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. I'm here to help you overcome the resistance to do your best work. This week's episode is about rejection. I got rejected a lot in 2016, and I've collected those rejections together. And I'm hoping for bigger and better rejections in 2017. This article originally appeared on Medium. You can follow me on Medium at cadavy.net/medium. And before I begin, remember, FreshBooks is giving you 30 days to send all the invoices that you want. Just go to cadavy.net/freshbooks to claim your free trial. That's cadavy.net/freshbooks. My top rejections of 2016. Rejection hurts. Sometimes it hurts a little more than other times, but it still does hurt. But rejection is a part of life. If you never get rejected, you're really not trying. In 2016, I quadrupled my creative output, but I got rejected harder and more frequently than any year before. I'm hoping for bigger and better rejections in 2017. I reviewed my 2016 rejections, and it didn't feel good. I had to relive them all at once. But it was a valuable exercise, and if nothing else, you can take some sadistic pleasure in reading about them. My book proposal was rejected 5 times. This was my hardest rejection of 2016, if not of my career. I spent 3 months writing a 72-page book proposal, and it was rejected. It wasn't rejected by publishers. It didn't get that far. I sent it to 5 agents, and I still don't have an agent. Mind you, I'm already a best-selling author, but I still got rejected. I got rejected by the New York Times. I'm not sure the best way to get published in the New York Times, but they accept submissions through their column, Modern Love. I submitted a piece, and it was rejected. My podcast interview requests were rejected. A note here, I'm going to name names, but just for the sake of understanding the scope and level of rejection. Every time I invite somebody to be on my podcast, I'm always relieved when they accept. There's always a chance of rejection. If you're one of these people, I take no offense to your rejection. I offered an opportunity, and you or your people decided it wasn't right for you at that time. There could be a million other reasons, and I have no way of knowing. Now, if you're not one of these people, please don't pester them on my behalf. Okay. So there were the real Hail Marys who I never expected to accept in the first place. Louis C.K. didn't respond, and Bruce Springsteen's people said no, which is a bit of an accomplishment in itself. Mike Birbiglia also didn't respond. They were the people you've probably never heard of, but who are big in their worlds. Performance artist Marina Abramović. Her people said no. William McCaskill, who is author of Doing Good Better. There were the people who I still think would benefit from being on my podcast, but who didn't accept. My podcast still isn't incredibly popular, so that could be part of it. Again, I have no way of knowing. Tim Ferriss didn't respond to 3 emails. I timed my request to correspond with the launch of his book, Tools of Titans. Seth Godin rejected my request twice. Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, and Kelly McGonigal, author of The Willpower Instinct, both didn't respond. Adam Grant is the author of Originals. His people rejected my request. I was very excited to get a verbal acceptance from Malcolm Gladwell, but he stopped responding to my scheduled proposals. I'll keep trying. A friend who interviewed him said it was really tough to book. My blog posts were rejected. I posted on Medium a lot throughout 2016. Many of my posts were rejected in the sense that they didn't resonate with people. They didn't generate many views or recommends, and people weren't highlighting them. I wrote a post every day for 2 months, and pretty much every one of those was rejected in the above sense. Then I started getting better, and my posts now tend to perform better. I was rejected by my readers. Most comments were by people who liked my writing, but some people hated it, and they said so. A good portion clearly didn't read the article, which I guess is a form of rejection. I was rejected by my email subscribers. Thousands and thousands of people unsubscribed from my email list, thus rejecting the body of work that I've spent my adult life building. At least one responded to an email with only 2 words, "Fuck you." Is that a rejection or is that a proposal? I was rejected by McSweeney's internet tendency. I submitted 2 articles. One was rejected. The other, fortunately, was accepted and received very well. Someone on Twitter rejected it, though. My piece was not funny to that person. I was rejected by podcast sponsors. Many didn't respond. Midroll told me my podcast wasn't big enough. My body is still rejecting itself. I have some kind of autoimmune condition in which my body is attacking itself. My doctor calls it chronic Lyme disease, though it's not possible to be sure. In any case, I have constant inflammation, and it's difficult to manage. 2 years after diagnosis, my body is still rejecting itself. Now, I wasn't just rejected by others, I also rejected others. I was on the receiving end of rejection many times in 2016, but I also dished it out. It's not fun to reject others, but it's necessary. I deleted lots of emails with the subject line, "Quick question." I unsubscribed from many newsletters that I never signed up for. I unchecked the email preference box on many new email categories that LinkedIn invented over the year. I turned down almost every pitch of guests for my podcast. I have to already be curious about somebody to interview them. I turned down podcast sponsorships that didn't fit the show or where I didn't think the advertiser would benefit. I turned down numerous speaking engagements that would have been fun travel opportunities. Because my body is rejecting itself, my health takes a toll when I travel. It's better for me to stay at home and write. I ignored many emails that were too long wherein someone asked me a litany of questions, often questions that no human could answer. I got many Twitter replies that I didn't want to answer at the moment, then later I forgot about them and then I never replied. Rejection is not good or bad. It just is. One day, I pitched a friend on a panel idea for South by Southwest. He rejected my idea. So, I came up with an idea for my own talk. Then South by Southwest rejected my idea. But a publisher liked my idea. They gave me a book deal. After I got the book deal, South by Southwest started liking my idea, and they invited me to speak. The following year, I spoke to a ballroom of nearly 900 people. Rejection hurts, but rejection is powerful. In a moment of rejection, you can either blame someone else, or you can look more closely at yourself and ask why. Rejection makes you look harder for the right opportunity. The right opportunity leads to new opportunities. If you accept opportunities that aren't right for you, everyone loses. Don't be afraid to reject others. Amidst these rejections, big wins. As much as I got rejected, I had more big breakthroughs than ever this year. This was a year where I doubled down on being a writer and a podcaster, so there was bound to be a learning curve. My work was published in Observer, The Huntington Post, Inc.com, Quartz, McSweeney's Internet Tendency, Upworthy, Lifehacker, and The Muse. I became a writer on some of Medium's most popular publications, such as The Mission and Startup Grind. I worked directly with Medium on a commissioned piece. I did a Quora session. I interviewed James Altucher, Dan Ariely, Jason Fried, Ryan Holiday, Noah Kagan, Laura Roeder, and many more. Next year, bigger rejections. As I reviewed my rejections for 2016, I felt something strange. I felt a tinge of regret. I wished that I had been rejected more and for bigger opportunities. I could have pitched journalists more. I could have submitted more writing to bigger publications. In 2017, I hope to do more of these things. I hope to have bigger and better rejections. If making progress is important to you, the worst thing you can do is protect yourself completely from rejection. Reach for opportunities that are easy wins, but throw some Hail Marys once in a while. You'll be surprised how often you hit your target. Love Your Work is supported in part by Treehouse. Take your career to the next level and learn from over 1,000 videos created by expert teachers on web design, coding, business, and much more. Claim your free 14-day free trial at cadavy.net/treehouse. You'll be supporting the show. Ooh, all right, that one hurt a bit to read. I hope it helps you look for bigger and better rejections, though. James Altucher gets rejected a lot, but he pushes through to do better and better work. Check him out on episode 53. And if you appreciate all the work that goes into making this show, there are a couple of ways you can help support it. One is to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Just hit the subscribe button. Another is to rate the show on iTunes. Just go to cadavy.net/iTunes and click on write a review and click on the star rating. You don't even have to write a review. It just takes a couple of seconds. And do you like books? If you do, I'd love to send you my book recommendations. About 90% of them will be nonfiction on subjects spanning from biographies to neuroscience. Just go to cadavy.net/reading, sign up, and you'll get my first set of recommendations right away. You'll be supporting the show if you buy any of those books through the links in the email. This has been Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. The theme music for the show is More Streets, performed by Spiderflower. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy Inc.